In this lesson, I'll show you how to create the illusion of a highly reflective metallic surface using a combination of graphite and white charcoal. Hello there everyone, Matt here with thevirtualinstructor.com, and maybe in the past you've had problems creating the illusion of a reflective surface in your drawings. I'm talking about shiny metal, glass, that kind of stuff. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you some hints and tips on how you can create the illusion of metal in your drawings and paintings. Now, this video that I'm going to share with you is excerpts from a course that I recently created called Mastering Metal with Graphite and White Charcoal. And in this course, we take a very detailed approach to creating this drawing. In this video, I'm going to give you the overview, so you're still going to be able to pick up quite a bit. Now, if you want to learn more about this specific course, I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can go check that out. This course includes 5 lessons that show you every step of the process and also illustrated ebooks as well. So without further ado, let's take a look at the process of creating the illusion of metal in a drawing. For this drawing, we'll be working on Strathmore toned gray sketch paper, which will provide us a medium value to start with. We'll also be using a variety of graphite pencils, including HB, 2B, and a 6B pencil so that we can get a broad range of darker tones. We'll also be using white charcoal to create maximum contrast. I'll also be using a couple of blending tools like this blending stump here. One side is for the darker applications and the other is for the lighter. I'll also be using a couple of erasers. We'll be using a Mono Zero eraser, which is a vinyl or plastic eraser, and also an electric eraser, which also has a vinyl eraser inside of it. We'll start here by just planning out different sections of the subject here. It's a very complex subject here, this metallic jug. So I'm looking for relationships that I can find comparing the edge of the picture plane with features of the jug itself. Once I've got things mapped out, I can start drawing the actual shapes of each section of the jug. I'm drawing here lightly using an HB pencil initially. These lines are loose and sketchy. We'll refine them as we go through the drawing, of course, but in the beginning stages, we can keep our arm moving and keep the lines that we make fairly loose and sketchy. As I start to work on the spout, I'm looking at the negative spaces around the main shapes. Using these negative spaces for comparisons helps me get accurate results on the paper. We'll do the same thing for the handle of the jug, again looking at the negative spaces that are created inside of the handle and on the outside of the handle in relationship to the edges of the picture plane. These beginning stages, of course, are very crucial, so it's important to take your time and work slowly. Once we've got the initial contours in place, we can do a quick erasing before we start developing the values. We'll start here with an HB pencil before quickly switching over to the white charcoal. It's important to note that white charcoal will not cover graphite completely, so we need to be careful and deliberate in the order that we apply the material. We're starting with just a little bit of graphite, then establishing the highlights with the white charcoal before adding additional applications of the graphite. I'm also using a blending tool here to smooth applications to create smooth gradations that exist in the values. Then I'll switch over to a darker pencil, here a 6B pencil, making some of the darkest values as dark as they need to be, and then going back with the white charcoal, making the highlights stronger as well. Then we'll simply work our way down to the next section of the jug, following the same procedure, starting with light applications of graphite before establishing the highlights with white charcoal, and then going darker with the graphite and doing some blending with the blending stump. Now, the real secret to creating the illusion of reflection in a surface like this is through contrast. Contrast deals with difference, and in this case, we're dealing with the difference of value. When we see a reflective surface like this, we typically see high contrasting shapes right next to each other. So we'll see a dark value right next to a light value. There is some areas where we see some gradation or smooth change from light to dark, but for the most part, to create that shiny appearance, we need to pay close attention to the shapes of value. We do this here as we move on to the spout, again following the same procedure, applying light applications of graphite first before establishing the highlight sections with white charcoal. Then we have the freedom to go back with darker applications of graphite, since the graphite can cover over the top of white charcoal applications. We'll broaden the contrast in this area by making the values darker where appropriate and the highlights stronger where appropriate as well. Note that not all applications are blended with the blending stump. We need to have some areas with smooth applications blended with the blending stump, but also areas where we've allowed the material to sit on the surface without any blending. Working our way from the top to the bottom and left to the right, we'll start working on the middle section of the jug. You'll notice that I have a paper towel underneath the palm of my hand, and as I mentioned, I'm working from top to bottom and also left to right. Since I'm right-handed, this will keep the palm of my hand away from the bulk of the drawing throughout the process. With many reflective surfaces, we'll notice actual reflections in the surface itself. In this case, I can see a reflection of the photographer. You can see this at the bottom portion of the section we're working on, and also at the top. It's distorted and upside down. It's important to continue to pay attention to the shapes of value that you see instead of trying to replicate what you see. Instead of trying to draw a photographer holding a camera, instead just focus on the shapes of value. If you get them approximately correct, then the illusion will be successful. We'll continue the process of adding light applications of graphite initially, followed by the highlights with white charcoal as we work our way down to the bottom portion of the jug. Just like with any drawing or painting, it's important to be patient and work slowly. Start with light applications and progressively get more heavy as you become more confident with your relationships of values that you create. It's also important, as you might have noticed, to create that broad range of value. If you're working with only an HB pencil or maybe even a 2B pencil, you're likely not going to be able to get the values dark enough to create the necessary contrast. And since we're working on gray paper, it's important to use a white material like charcoal, like the white charcoal we're using here, in order to create the highlights. If you just work on gray paper without adding light applications, like with white charcoal, then your drawing is limited in its range of value. In every drawing or painting we create, we should strive to create a full range of value, meaning that we have the lightest lights and darkest darks in relationship to a value scale. As we work down to the bottom portion, we continue the same process. Here you can see I'm applying some white charcoal in areas to create strong highlights with very limited blending. We'll also add just a hint of cast shadow underneath this jug. This is applied with 6B graphite, gently erased and then blended to create a smooth gradation. Now all that's left is the handle of the jug, and at this point we have a good understanding of how this process goes. We'll start by establishing shapes of darker value with light applications of medium graphite, like HB. Then we'll establish the highlights, again with the white charcoal, before making the values darker with a 2B and 6B graphite pencil. Then we can go back and make some of these highlights even stronger in areas to broaden the range of value. At the conclusion of the drawing, we can use an eraser to clean up any stray marks. And now our drawing of a highly reflective metallic surface is complete using a combination of graphite and white charcoal. Remember, the secret is contrast in value. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to pick up a couple of things here and there. Now, remember, if you want to go deeper into this process with this specific drawing, I'll leave a link in the description below for the course Mastering Metal with Graphite and White Charcoal. Now, this course is included with membership, as well as the other courses that we offer on just about every drawing and painting medium and every subject matter you can imagine. All of our courses are included with the membership program, and all of them include illustrated ebooks. We also do weekly live classes, and all of those are recorded and stored in our vault. So there's a ton of those. Those are also included in the membership program. We do weekly critiques as part of the Members Minute, and there's also a year-long curriculum for visual arts teachers. All of that is included in the membership program. If you want to check out the membership program that we offer over at thevirtualinstructor.com, I'll leave a link in the description below for that as well. You can check it out for free for a week. Everyone starts with a week-long trial. Then beyond that, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee, and the program is very, very inexpensive. I encourage all of you to check it out if you haven't already. Now, if you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that as well. It's absolutely free to do that. If you want to just check out 3 of our course videos and ebooks for free, I'll leave a link in the description below for that. If you sign up for that, that will put you on our mailing list, and I'll send you a ton of free content as well. Thanks so much for watching this video. As always, I wish you all the very best in your artistic success.